Dumelang, dumelang, dumelang. Lo ka e. How here? The income alchemist, psychic surgeon. Change management certified. Change management. And here we are. Time to have a conversations. To have conversations. To have a conversation. So what happens when we only strengthen one side of our body? That's the conversation that I want us to talk about today. Right? The other part will be stronger. Certain muscles will be stronger. Somehow there is an imbalance that happens in the body because we are only training one side, building only one side of the body. And we start limping, right? We start limping. The other shoulder is much more stronger. The other one is it's weak. The other side, what are we doing? And why do we do that? Because we have become brilliant, for instance, with strategies, performance, structure, goals, and all the achievement, which are beautiful qualities, by the way. But they are only one side of our human beingness. And the reason why I brought change management today is I was having a conversation with someone, just asking me about my exposure to organization when it comes to change management. And I said, I haven't worked in an organization yet. And actually, this conversation started with me because I remember what drove me to do change management, which was the divine message, intelligence, God, universe, that I just woke up with that message. Introduce your work to the executives. So when it comes to like spirituality, healing, what I do, I was like, where the fuck do I start? And what does that even mean? Right? That was my logic. That was my brain that came in the way. But anyway, I did something about it. Because for me, it's like, what can I do to bridge that gap that I feel is missing? Right? It's not about, oh, I don't have the skills. Now, whatever. It's like, okay, this message came through. What can I do as my human to meet my soul or to nip that doubt in the bud? That's why I started organization management, because I was interested about executives and a lot of things. As in, like, executive, we're talking about somebody who is leading an organization, right? Probably you are that executive. You are leading your own organization, your own business, but do you show up as that leader? And actually, when it comes to leadership, we are leaders in many ways. You lead your family, right? But back to the conversation. So we spoke about change management, and I just shared a lot. But at the end, we came to a conclusion that it's quite interesting that as much as we're talking about change in organization, it's often or more effort, more attention is given to the structure, to the systems, to the strategies, and a little is given to the other part, which is like the soft elements, right? So we're giving more to the hard elements and we ignore the soft element. And this brought me to one of the models that I truly love about the 7S of McKinsey, right? Which we're talking about those structures, strategies, style, shared values, and skills and all that, which are very qualities that we need, especially when it comes to creating that wholeness, right? But organizations are ignoring that. Besides the organization, because organizations are led by people, we're going to come back to the human. As a human, where are you showing up from only a part of yourself? Because when I look at the global perspective, or how things have been done for a long time, we have given more power to the masculine, which is a big part of the structure, right? To the left brain, the logic, the force. And we ignore the biggest part, like communication, compassion, intuition, because those are big qualities that we need when it comes to leadership. We don't give them as much attention as a lot of stuff. What creates the culture and how that affects how the whole organization works, because everything leads to relational. Everything is relational. So if these parts are ignored within an individual, starting with you as a leader, because even if you're an employee, you are offering a service. If you are an executive, you are leading other people, you are part of the hierarchy that creates whatever culture that is adapted, right? If you are a solo entrepreneur, still, you're going to start from somewhere. So if you are ignoring the other part of your body, like working only with the logic and all that, and ignoring the most important thing, which is like those soft elementals. Because even when it comes for your business to make money, whether it's a huge organization, whether it's just a sole entrepreneur, you gotta be relational. For you to thrive in your business, we gotta go back to the bedroom. You gotta go back to your personal relationship. As I love to say, how you show up in the bedroom affect how you show up in the boardroom. If you can't be present, if you can't be open to your like vulnerability, trusting, and all those soft qualities, there is no how you can be able to hold space for a lot of people in the boardroom. You can't be present in the boardroom if you cannot be present in the bedroom. The two are connected, right? You cannot lead if you are functioning from only the other part of you and ignoring the other. This is why I talk about being present enough to hear what is not being said. Even if an offer, a contract, now I'm thinking for a track contract, like my mind is running around German and English. So bear with me. There is a contract that is in front of you. The money looks good. But something within you is telling you that there is something doesn't add up here. But because you are here, you are hearing what the person who is offering you that contract is saying. They get into your head, they tell you what you want to hear. You are easily manipulated. Same thing in a relationship. This is why a lot of people are crying about narcissist. The narcissist, that person that you're so angry about. They told you what you wanted to hear. You bought into what they said. You ignored your body. Those soft qualities, those soft elements, when they whispered, this is a repetition of the past relationship. But because they said what you wanted to hear, you ran with it. You ignored your gut. And this is what I'm getting to. When we have a problem with other, whether it's the masculine men in our lives, when we have a problem with women in our lives, is it about them? Or is the disconnection that is within us? Is it the conflict that is within us? Because we don't need more successful people who are conflicted from within. We need successful people who are leading from wholeness. And that creates the culture, that creates that organization that gets to thrive, right? If it's coming from wholeness. So instead of organizations as well ignoring the skills and stuff and shared values and all that, they're taking care of, they need to take care of that. And that comes back to an individual. So whatever your aspirations are, you gotta look at yourself as an individual. Because even when it comes to relationships or marriages, we often, God, somebody's making noise here. We often run to get married before we can know who we are. And that ends up costing us something. We pay for that one way or the other. So you cannot ignore your feminine energy and only lead from the masculine. You cannot ignore your masculine energy and only lead from the feminine, because when you bring that flow, when you bring that creativity, when you bring all those inspiration, those ideas, there is nothing that can hold that. And often we run around with the concepts that we hear online. Somebody said regulation. I need to regulate. You are unique. What is the story here? Because I met people who came to me and they said, "Oh, I need to regulate." But when I checked in, I realized that the masculine energy here is wounded. Something happened that destabilized their structure, which again brings us, even when talking about, it brings us to the body. If you are not in the body, how are you going to create? And I love mindset, which is what everybody's talking about, because it's very important. But when it comes to our mental aspects, when it comes to our emotional aspects, they are all in our auric field. So we're going to come back into the body. They're not in our brains. They are in the auric fields. So who are you being? How are you showing up? How are you leading? Are you leading from wholeness, even when it comes to your marital home? How do you show up in the bedroom? How do you show up in the boardroom? Are you whole? Or you are just nurturing the other side? You are exercising the left brain and ignoring the right brain. Let's talk about that. So back to the conversation I was having about this imbalance that happens in the organization. Because the reason why I'm sharing this is because at some point I felt emotional. Because I was just thinking about, there's one company that I was at lately, and I observed the culture where somebody needs something, but then I can't go to an office and have a conversation with somebody. So because I was asking questions, I'm like, why should it take so long for you to get the documents that you need? Why can't you go and have a conversation? Because it's easier when you're having a conversation and somebody gets to fully understand where you're coming from, the help that you need, and they're able to help. And the whole culture is, no, just write an email. Don't go to them. So there is no communication. There is no relation in this organization. And I felt emotional because people spend a lot of time at work. You spend a lot of time wherever that you're working, whatever that you're doing. And you can imagine if you don't even trust other people to help you. You don't even trust that what you say is going to be taken as that. So it's kind of like you are looking for proof. I want to write an email because if you told me something that is wrong, I can prove. If you didn't help me, I can prove that you did not. So instead of working towards one objective, people are working towards, I want to prove that I'm right and you are wrong. And this is how you show up even in your relationships. You want to be right so bad. You are not willing to understand the other. And it's costing you. And this reminded me of my own experience, especially when it comes to the part that woke me to myself, which is the whole thing about the children, the co-parenting. There was a point in my life where I realized that instead of being present with my children, especially when there were lawyers involved and all that, it was more, I want to do more for them to prove that I can be a better mother, to prove that I've got more money, to prove that whatever. And I've seen this thing play out in many different ways. I've had conversations with my clients where they experience this. And when you choose to lead from your extraordinary self, choosing to integrate all these aspects so that it can come from wholeness, you get to see that as it is and choose not to play in that. Because it doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve any one of you for your highest and greatest good. It doesn't even serve your children. So what future are we creating here? Right? Because we're talking about the legacy that we are creating that is beyond money. It starts with you willing to heal and lead from wholeness, not from the inherited emotional pain and sexual shame. Being able to be present, being able to have difficult conversations, being able to share your truth, because most of the people, you ain't truthful. And I say this with love, you ain't truthful. And I remember when this hit me. Any decision that you made from fear is gonna cost you. The first time I had this, any decision that you made from fear, it's going to cost you. And it's time that you release anything you created from fear. And I knew by then that even my marriage was going to collapse before there was any crack, or maybe there was cracks that I ignored. Sometimes we ignore them. You want to just, what do you call it, when you take cement and put in that crack and patch it up? We want to do that. But if it hasn't been made from love, it's going to cost you. And sometimes we create foundations that are coming from fear. Because when I talk about masculine energy and feminine energy, it's not about men or women. I said we've been led by the wounded masculine. And as women as well, as much as we are more connected to that feminine energy more than men, are we really more, or for us to prove that we also can, we ended up adopting what men do? Oh, you can wear pants, I can wear pants too. So we also lead from the toxic masculinity. Sometimes it just comes from survival. So you get to be strong-wounded. You know what I mean? Strong-wounded. I'm strong. I love myself. I don't need a man. I can do it too. It's the wound. And you are coming from that because you have abandoned your masculine energy. Because the conflict within is so loud. And when you meet a partner who is willing to hold space for you and say, baby, just let go. I've got you. You don't know how to let go. It's not about him. It's about you. The war that is within yourself. The war of the feminine and the masculine energy. And for any relationship to thrive, you got to be coming from wholeness. Because anything that you need, I need him. That's not love. That's you who has made him, the job or whatever, your God. And this is what most people don't understand. You have made your job your gods. You've made your partners your gods. And this often comes through, especially for women. I don't love him, but I need him because he provides. Therefore, he has become your God. You don't trust source to provide for you. You don't trust for you to find a better job, because whatever job that wherever that you at, whatever company that gives you that, it's a channel. It's source saying, I'm going to give you what you need through this. But can God give you another channel that is better, that is more expansive? Of course, yes. But you got to see the God in you. But you don't. I don't know how I got here, but here we are. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about leading from wholeness, embracing all of ourselves, integrating all these aspects, and watch out as well. Like, I'm just inviting you to also go to whatever company that you're working for, or just look into your business. What is it that you are prioritizing? Look into your personal life. What is it that you are prioritizing? Are you exercising just one muscle and ignoring the other? Are you giving more value to the hard elements and ignoring the soft ones? This also reminds me of like one of the biggest conflicts and deal breakers that I had with my ex-husband, where he said, I miss the intelligent you. That is, I was intelligent when I was just an accountant. But now, with the whole spirituality and all that, I'm not intelligent. So he valued the hard elements.